Okay, so this is the story of a challenge that was impossible to complete, or at least is what everybody thought. So this is the Mount Olympus, huge mount full of monsters, titans, and creatures that you would never expect to face, right? Hundreds of projects in progress, tons of unfinished work, rational unified process, UML, Gantt, all those monsters, and a big wall, a big gap between the business and IT. They weren't even allowed to talk to each other. That's what makes the business and the people very unhappy in this Mount Olympus. And this is the Spartan. This is a guy who wanted to change the world. Maybe that's not possible. Maybe that's very difficult. But it's what this guy wanted to do. He came from another Mount Olympus, smaller than Olympus, that exploded in flames after he left. But this time, this Spartan was getting into this Mount Olympus with more tools and more energy. This Spartan had a challenge. And this time, he was determined to accomplish the challenge. That journey had just begun. And this is the Spartan starting the challenge among these titans. So first episode of the challenge, the change of a status quo. You're not supposed to change anything. Everything is already working. So the first thing that this Spartan tried to do is explain the people in Mount Olympus that the only way to improve was to remove things. Because every time that these people from Mount Olympus faces a problem, something that they want to improve, they want to solve, they included stuff. They included vendors, they included tools, they included complexity to the organization, right? So here you can see a picture of an A3 problem-solving sheet to improve by removing, right? I was using this tool in order to understand what should we remove in order to improve. I think that for my last 6 months in this organization, I just sit down in meetings, and after the meetings, I stand up, I wrote in the wall, wrote in the flip chart, eliminar, that is in Spanish, remove. So don't include, just remove. Another thing that happens is that I spend a lot of time in awareness, like giving talks. This is a small advertisement about one of the talks that he gave in Mount Olympus, right? I was giving lots and lots of information, talks about Kaizen, about Lean, about Agile, because I just wanted people to know that is some way to do things that are different and might be better. Maybe not, but I wanted to know about that. Visualization. After just 6 months, I persuade some people to start visualizing the work, right? And you can see this Kanban board. Can you see the bottleneck here, right? Okay, you will see another Kanban board later. But the situation was that. The situation was like this. At the beginning, we didn't have even limits. I just wanted them to see the crop that they had. You have crop, just make it visible, right? After 8 months, we started realizing that we had so many unfinished work, so many stuff that have to be removed to improve, right? This is an A3 problem-solving sheet where we decided to divide the work by classes of services, right? This is the Kanban way of doing this, removing variations, right? We started removing variation and getting rid of unfinished work. It was the first initiative. And we managed to test this Scrum thing. I got this small project that they allowed me to work on using Scrum. Good step. So what I did right in that period, have a strong message. So remove to improve, remove to improve. I think that if you give too many messages to the people, they will get flooded of this information and get more fear out of that. You don't want that. I think it's better to have one clear message for 1 year until this message is clear to everyone in your organization. And you will have just that. But it's enough, right? It's better to have one thing done than have many things undone, right? Isn't it the Kanban thing, the lean thing? Great. Soft landing. I got there, and it was Mount by Olympus. So I didn't want to, maybe I want to change everything, but step by step. So I had to cope with things that I didn't like very much. And it's okay, right? It's okay. So I respected the existing methodology. It's okay with rational unified process. Go on. But at least to improve, remove, right? One thing that I did is to brutally manage all impediments to change. I mean with that, when people say, okay, you're right, but he won't allow me to do that. Okay, let's go and ask him. No, but my boss is, okay, let's go to your boss. Yeah, but the boss of my boss, okay, let's go to the boss of your boss. And one step after another, I reached the CEO of the company because I had to. So you have to do this fearless. Otherwise, there was always an excuse for not doing things, right? This is what I call the brutally manage every impediment. Talk to whoever it is needed in order to change things. Otherwise, people would be afraid of changing, right? It's normal, right? So that means a lot of communication and coaching. So awareness, tell people what is this about. And of course, visualization. This is the thing that I did right. What I did wrong, I was trying to be right myself, right? So Rubik's crap, this is stuff that you are doing this. So this is outdated, man. It's not a good way to make things happen, twisting other people's arms, right? And I was doing that. I didn't want to change them. I wanted to be right. I know about Agile. Trying to do it alone. I went there. I'm the Spartan. I can't do this, of course, myself. I can convince everybody. That's wrong. I was being too aggressive. I was being too aggressive. And sometimes being right is aggressive. It's aggressive. It was too much about me. I wasn't looking for a reason for that people to change. I just wanted them to accept my reason to change. But if you want to change, you have to will yourself to change. You have to want yourself to change, not others to tell you that you have to change, even if the other guy is right, right? I was using this buzzword and this complex concept. I was using this guy saying, Genki, Genbutsu, go see yourself, Toyota production system, whatever. Everybody thought that I was crazy, and maybe they were right, because I was speaking in another language. And I got frustrated because they didn't understand me. I was wrong. I should have simplified that. And I took this trust for granted. So I thought that I had the right path for them to improve, the right path for them to grow. And I was a newcomer. And you are not trusting newcomers. Why should I trust you? You're just here for a couple of months, 6 months, whatever. No, you are not even my boss. Why should I listen to you? So I thought that as long as I'm the expert in Agile, you should be listening to me. And it's not true. So episode 2 the phantom of chaos. So things were starting to happen. These buzzwords were going around the organization, but everybody was afraid of chaos. What is going to happen? So this is what's happened after the second period. This is after 1 year, more or less, 1 year and 2 months. We started implementing the stuff that I talked to you about before, this division in classes of services. We use a visual tool that is called Linkit Kanban, maybe you know it, right? With these screens. So they could use a computer because they wanted to use a computer in order to trace the in-progress work, right? But at least people got involved in this, and they decided they own to use this tool. And it's a very good thing. So projects started being developed iteratively, not Scrum yet. We have everything outsourced. But at least, instead of delivering every 6 months, we were delivering every month, more or less, right? And we were managing the flow of delivery. So now you can see another board similar to the previous one, but now it's a little bit more balanced, right? Isn't it a little bit better? And we have limits here. Before, we hadn't any limits. So we started doing some flow management, right? We drastically reduce complexity and unnecessary activities such as, sorry for that, UML, use cases, activity diagrams, project or Gantt charts. So we were reducing all that stuff. We were reducing the big amount of documentation that we were generating and that was costing us money, right? This is an example on how was our documentation structure after this, let's say, 18, 19 months of this work in Mount Bank Olympus, right? This user manual, development guide, and the set of user stories, themes, and epics. Oh. So at that point, the first reorganization happened. We changed the structure, and we put together these people representing the business and these people representing development. And we oriented the organization to the delivery. We oriented the organization to what the business was asking us to do in this 4 stream. Like it was the regulatory project, research and development projects, renewing of the website, and software maintenance and improvement. We divided this way. Maybe it's not the best, right? But it was much better because business and IT was aligned. They were on the same page. That is very important. We started creating this sort of Scrum cells, right? To start making the next step to these multidisciplinary teams. Okay? And we started doing some portfolio management, some agile portfolio management. So not anymore based on this complex project server, right? Microsoft Project Server, all that stuff, but instead of a task board, right? So this is the task board of the portfolio management of one of the programs I showed you before. This is the regulatory program, right? So people did their daily stand-ups in front of this, so they can know a little bit in advance what is going to come in the next block, sprint. I learned not to say sprint because sprint is a buzzword. Say cycle, say iteration, whatever. Not cause fear. It will come the time to talk about sprint and about Scrum. So what I did right, I hired some help. I finally got some budget. I had some coaches to help me doing this, and I felt much better because I wasn't alone. I developed empathy for others and started working for them instead of working for me, because I wanted my success case. This sounds cool. This is part, I'm doing this. No, it's impossible to change a bank. I can change a bank. So it's not about me, it's about them. I find allies in top management. I started talking to these people through this brutal management thing, right? And got them on board, somehow. As long as they are not like risking anything, they will be there with me, which is not bad. Just walking around with a manager close to you is good enough to get them listening to you. It's very important. I use that, just going around the office with the CIO of the company and showing her, this is the Kanban board, whatever. People were looking at me like, wow, maybe this guy is getting influential in this organization. This is critical. I started creating a global community. So there were other guys in other countries trying to do this. So with the help of people from head office in the Netherlands, it's a Dutch company, I managed to create a global community. I was running this global community of Agile coaches in all countries of IG. That helped me a lot. Of course, I did so many training, like training, and more training, and training like crazy. So, and it was difficult to book time from people. So I trained in Kanban almost 200 people in group of 5 for more than a year. So I freaking hate the Kanban game. I freaking hate it because I played it so many times. So even before giving the course, I played the game by myself, alone, like 5 times to understand the possible thing that it would be saying to me to thwart me or to put the game down. No, this is not what we are doing. So I tweaked the games. It was much more like the actual work that we did there in the bank. You have to be very careful with that. Otherwise, they have an excuse not to do anything. So, and then I started gathering some metrics. I'm not a huge believer in metrics, as Winston Churchill said. I only believe in the numbers that I faked myself. But they can be a good tool. They can be a good tool to have some metrics and to sort of demonstrate that what you're doing worth it. Okay, and simplify the message, right? What I did wrong? It was still my change, not their change somehow. I had to go for them to understand this as their change. I wasn't finding a place, a role, a purpose, a goal for this management in this future organization, and this caused fears. You have to understand where and what are they going to do after the change. Otherwise, they will be against you, and you don't want that. I wasn't letting people getting things the wrong way, and I think you have to, right? You have to let them do things wrong way and figure out themselves that it's the wrong way. If you have to fail, let them fail. It's for learning. It's for good, right? I was too focused on the Agile practices rather than the reason for the organization to do Agile. I just wanted them to do Agile, but Agile is just a way. It's not a goal. And I didn't properly manage the conflict that was rising after this, right? People were afraid of this. Maybe some of them, they were like not seeing themselves in this future organization. Some of them, they had fears or willing to get more power or whatever. So, and I wasn't managing that. You have to manage that. It's very important. Because if you generate the conflict, you have to figure out how are you going to solve that conflict afterwards. Chapter 3, the shadow of fear. So Agile was there. So it was the Agile way or no way. And I will explain you why. So I'm afraid of getting short of time, but it was something very interesting happening because I think Agile succeeded in this organization because we failed. So we started a project, and we started with Agile, with a vendor. This vendor wasn't ready to work with us, and they failed delivering this stuff. But they failed after a month. They failed in the second sprint. The CIO was very close to this project, and she understood, wow, if we have done this in a traditional way, we'll figure out that this vendor can't work with us after a year. And now we figure out after a month. So now, from now on, it's this way or no way. So we failed in that month, and it was good enough to get the buy-in for the organization to continue working that way. It was awesome. I was very lucky with that. And we started combining Agile with everything we were doing in the organization. So with lean startup approach, with design thinking, even with non-IT projects. And we organized 2 open spaces. This is what's, I think, one of the best things I ever did there. One open space just for the management from the business and the IT side, and the second open space with everybody, almost 200 people in this open space, figuring out how this future organization will be after Agile happening. So how this organization has to be in order to make Agile happen in the best way possible. So, and this is the marketplace of this second open space with more than 200 people. So we literally stopped the bank for the day for doing this. After almost 3 years, after 3 years of this Spartan working in Mount Olympus. Then the next reorganization happens. So instead of being oriented to the delivery, we oriented ourselves to the customers. In event in the life of a customer streams. So one event in the life of a customer is I want an account. Another one is I need some money. Another one, I want to save money. Another one, I want to pay, right? So this is the experience that we want to improve, and we create these streams with people from marketing, strategy, business processes, business operations, or product owner, UX, and some developers in Scrum teams. So it was a truly multidisciplinary team sitting together. So the developer can stand up, walk, and talk to the marketing guy, right? So it's how this is structured right now. So I'm not there anymore. They also started doing some Kaizen initiative to improve the business processes. This is a value stream map of a whole process, right? Because now the important thing is not the IT process, but it's the whole process, which is the process that is delighting the customer. So non-IT, the business was also involved in this somehow, right? They also wanted to try this and deliver things in an iterative way, even though they were maybe working in a non-IT project. So this is obviously non-IT people. They have like ties and well-dressed and all that. Okay, more things were happening there. So we went from detailed plans to hypotheses and experiments. We went from annual to incremental budgeting. We were from keeping up with these congestions to manage flow on a portfolio level, program level, and delivery level. We were from project focus to continuous delivery and customer focus, and from hidden progression to a radical visibility. Everything was visible. Everything is still visible. What I did right? Involving business. Involve business. You have to see this, in my opinion, from a business perspective. Otherwise, it's no point for the organization to change anything. Expand Agile beyond IT, and seeing Agile from the customer perspective. The open spaces, as I told you, I think it was winning strategy, organize these 2 open spaces. Going outside of the picture, right? So it's not anymore about me. It's not Angelism, it's Agile, right? It's not about Angel, it's about Agile. So I went outside of the picture. I coached the coaches, so I wanted to generate some competencies within the organization. because I was sort of understanding. Shit. Okay, so 5 minutes. I was sort of understanding that my time there was coming to an end somehow. I built a community change coalition after this open space, so the management was on board and wanted to change things. And I was also trying to develop some evangelists within the Gemba, within the people working, right? What I did wrong? I wasn't properly understanding my role in the Agile coaches team. So, I mean, when I started working with this guy, I told myself, okay, we're Agile guys, we know about self-organization, so just let's self-organize. Wasn't working, no, bad idea. So the last 3 months I spent in the organization, I realized that I had to be the Scrum Master of that team, and I behaved as a Scrum Master, and it was much better. For the first year, I was one of this self-organized team that wasn't organizing at all, because all of us, all of the coaches were about ourselves, our prides, our success cases. It's about me, right? We are a little bit like that. Come on, we love this stuff. And it's normal. At least for me, it makes me happy to know that I have an impact here in the organization, but sorry, it's not about you. So, not accepting that my job was done. Now, for me, it was like this Stockholm syndrome, right? So it was done. They weren't already going. They had this momentum going, right? So for me, leaving the organization was difficult because it actually was a very, very nice place to work. And see the results of your work there is awesome, right? So for me, it was a little bit difficult to leave. Not being proud enough of the effort of my colleagues and what we had achieved, right? We actually did an awesome job there. It was difficult to do. I think it's very, very difficult to do this in a bank. And we were doing a lot of cool stuff. Of course, there was crap there, right? Some culture problems, fight of Game of Thrones going around. All that is normal. We are all human beings. We want to get richer, taller, and get more money and all that, be happier. And it's normal. It's still happening there. But on the other side, we did a great job. Great job. Great things happening there. And maybe focus a little bit too much in other countries. So I started meeting people from the community and helping other INGs, so helping France and Italy, and Poland, and Romania, and wherever. So it was new challenges for me, right? So much more interesting than already this Spanish guy. I already know them. So I forgot a little bit about them, right? So this is the end of the story. This is this Spartan with the wings, living Mount Olympus. That is already going in that direction. It's a good thing. I think that the most important thing about this change is that this change is still happening, even though you are not there anymore. So you have to go slowly, step by step, and make a sustainable change and a sustainable momentum for this change to continue, because there's no end for that change, right? Agile is not a place, it's a way. And they're still going that way. This is awesome. So, summary. Yes, it is possible to change a bank. Yes, it takes time, effort, and courage. It's not about you. It's about the organization and the people in the organization. Don't do it alone. Think from the business perspective. And the most important thing, give people a reason to change as people. And they will change only if they want to do so. So now I have a new life. I'm part of the Agile consultant group. I'm a free consultant. Now I'm much happier, right? And now I will present myself. So this was Transitional to Agile in a Bank by Angel Diaz, myself. And thank you very much for coming.